Attention realtors and investors. Are you tired of losing your leads to Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, and Realtor.com? Then intercept buyers and sellers before they go online. May 16th at the Pasadena Convention Center, you will learn how. The event is 100% free of charge. Visit Honish.com. That's www.honish.com.
Are you a real estate agent, realtor, investor, or are you in the real estate business and you need new listings and deals? We have a solution for you, and that solution has guaranteed results. How much would you pay to get face-to-face with a homeowner that wants to sell their home? What if you also got their email address and daytime phone number? And what if this homeowner also scheduled you to come to their door at a set time to meet with you? Sound too good to be true? It isn't. And it is 100% guaranteed for you to meet face-to-face with a real homeowner who really needs to sell their home. Not only will you get this remarkable contact system and its 100% guarantee, at no additional charge, you will get weekly coaching, documents, and training on how to get that homeowner and convert them into a new listing. When you purchase, you'll also get a one-on-one walkthrough so that you can start using the system today. Visit www.thelistingmonster.com. That's www.thelistingmonster.com. Or call Diana Ortiz at 213-706-0040. Stop wasting time the old way. Use a monster and get actual results today.
Welcome to Real Estate Marketing, the podcast, the only on-demand audio program that answers every realtor and investor's biggest question: how do I get a listing or deal in the current real estate market? With the help of your host, Lee Honish, who has over 25 years' experience in real estate, development, marketing, and Lee is the former head loss mitigator for IndyMac Bank's HELOC division. With over 1 million views, he has educated countless on real estate. Enjoy today's program.
The point of the first meeting is only to get the second meeting. And I think if we kept that in mind, that the first meeting is, and then from there it's a discussion of the importance of the math and the number of touches. I thought it was brilliant on David's part. It is the meeting to reconvene. It's brilliant. It's why David sells the monster better than me. It's why David is generally just better than me in general. I'm just a simple guy. I'm a simple guy with simple needs. What was the statement? I haven't seen last week's coaching. The statement was, simple is good. Jocelyn, you're going on a first appointment to have a meeting to reconvene. Right? The simplicity of the monster is to create a meeting to have another meeting. And that's what makes it all so brilliant. We've overcomplicated the simplicity of how it all works. I agree with you, David. I think striving for more simplicity is the secret. I think the monster itself gets screwed up because people want to overcomplicate it. I was doing a discussion with somebody on Sunday night to purchase the monster, and he's like, well, could I do it in larger... could I do it? Everybody looking at my screen? You should be able to see my screen. So the discussion is was really simple. Sorry. Okay, good. Thanks. The discussion of this individual was, could you do it in wide open format, which is something I'm sure that David has thought about, right? David has the resources to ramp up and do 20 or 40 monsters a day, doing all over Southern California. And here's the reality. You'll start to go for the close at the door and start to almost forsake the lead itself, if that makes any sense. I guess that's the correct way to look at it, right, David? The correct way to look at the monster is you should hold your leads and the people you meet as precious and not be focused on, I didn't close them at the door. If your goal and your focus is to get the second meeting, right, then you have a higher probability of making a close. There's no closing allowed in the beginning. And for guys who, I think we get caught up with the monster because guys like Nino and Marco Chaidez and like these really great door knocking door guys are able to go into, they're in a rarefied air, right? Where they can build their credibility and their expertise really fast at the door. And I would say this to anybody who does a lot of door knocking, your success rate with the monster will go up exponentially because you're just going to be more comfortable at the door. I think if everybody went into the monster, first appointment with the monster, with the frame of mind of just getting the second appointment and holding that second appointment as special as possible, right? Then you'd have a higher closing rate. But what we do instead is, well, can I do, 50 monsters a day? Well, yeah, you can hire somebody. I burned an entire town testing this model. And what you inevitably do is start to look for the deal on the first appointment. It is inevitable. It is, instead of building relationships with each and every person you meet based on specific data or criteria, it is inevitable that you start to look at each appointment as an opportunity to close and get a listing because it's just the sheer volume, if that makes sense. So instead of looking at your first appointment as an opportunity to get a listing or a deal, which certainly can happen. It's happened to David, it's happened to Marco Chaidez, it's happened to guys like Steve Hawks, where they are super confident front door guys who've taken the monster and they can close immediately with it. But what they're really doing is they were able to create expertise and a relationship with the homeowner quicker, right? So every time they meet somebody, every time they're involved with somebody, they're creating these relationships. And so their pull-through rating, and that's what this is about. It's about the pull-through. So if I put out 36 monsters in a week, simple as that, you put out 36 monsters, you are going to get 3 to 5 face-to-face appointments in that week on average. I kind of agree with David's statement last week when he brought up there's no way to sort of dictate what causes greater responses. It could be day of the week. It could be the data itself. It could be placement of the monster. But it is fairly random as to the exact number of face-to-face appointments per 36 on any given week. I would say that on average, the lowest number that I have seen is 3. When we talk about this for new people signing up, and it's the only reason that I can make the statement is, I know you're going to get 1 for sure. Minimum 1, right? So the monster guarantees for the first time ever in real estate history, the first guaranteed face-to-face appointment system, which for all of you who go to RIAs and trainings, and my God, the amount of stuff that's thrown at people in real estate is staggering, right? And I don't want to be that guy. I want to be somebody who creates more content. I want to be a guy who does this podcast. But I can guarantee a face-to-face because it's this simple delivery system, right? So you put this tag up, you put this very simple concept, and the question is, it works. So when somebody comes back to me, which happens with the monster, believe it or not, people tell me I put up 150 and nobody called me back. Well, first of all, where did you get the time to put up 150? And after the first 25 to 50, didn't you know something was up? Now, there might be a breakdown with the calls. There's a lot of working parts and pieces to how the monster actually works out, which is why I'm always blown away why people put up 150 and burn out in the first week of doing the monster. What was your goal with putting up 150? I mean, if it really worked, that's 30 appointments, somewhere in that range. It's going to be about 30 appointments if all 150 were NODs or good data or people, human beings. We all know this by knowing the monster. It just works, right? So if you put 150 monsters up, statistically, you're going to have a minimum of 30 appointments, period, to go and convey a delivery and share information. Right? That's why we can work on it with buyers. That's why you can actually use it for farming purposes. Again, it's about identifying a buyer profile. And we'll talk about a little bit some of that today. But what makes it all so unique in sort of this little wrapped up bundle for all of you that are brand new and getting started is that it will work. And then, so if you eliminate all that, which is what David talked about last week, there should be no discussion. The more discussion about putting the tags up and creating the delivery process of the monster is not the brilliance of the monster. The brilliance of the monster is this group. It's David, it's Diana, it's having these coaching calls. It's May 16th, Pasadena Convention Center, where you can come and meet and share ideas on what to do next. And I think David has laid it out perfectly. His coaching call last week, which is available for anybody to listen to, is something that should be taught in every single real estate office in America. And it's really simple. Stop focusing on the close. And the funny part to all of this is that is completely contrary to what everybody on this call is taught. It's contrary to what anybody listening to this has been taught, which is go to the door, take them a potted plant, read this script, tell them you're number one, ask them if they know anybody in their sphere of influence. And I'm not mocking that approach. I just personally think that that is a very narrow way of looking at people. One of the big things that's, you guys can all see my presentation on the screen. One of the big things that people enjoy in my current presentation is what I call the 3 V's of redirectional marketing, right? Creating value in you, creating value in your delivery, and creating value in the client. And I don't think we look at it that way. I know we all know this, right? We meet people in real estate, investors or realtors, where they're looking at the homeowner, and if you don't have a listing, I don't have the time of day for you. Really, truthfully, as a person in real estate, as an investor or a realtor, whoever you are on this call or in the coaching group or listening to the replay, my statement would be this. If you met people and you brand yourself as a person in real estate and constantly were making relationships, the more broad that is, the more deals you get. Why does somebody like Robert Fregoso, right? Why would Robert Fregoso go so hard at creating a broader message? Well, because it creates more deals for him as an investor. There's no other reason to work with realtors. Same can be said for David. If you look at David's model, he diversified from short sales, right? Short sales is a very narrow niche, but now he's got the escrow company and he's got to help you sell. And so the more diversified you are, the greater volume and the greater amount of money you have the potential to make. And all of those things are possible if you use the correct marketing, right? You have to, it doesn't matter what the product or service is that you sell, if that makes sense to anybody listening. And I think that's where the confusion comes in. I think people get confused with what, when you talk redirectional marketing or you talk most marketing techniques, well, if I just do X, Y, Z and put this up and I buy this and it does this cool clicky thing on Facebook or whatever, I'm going to get this result. I use this analogy constantly, and it's the one on the screen. It is my explanation for the way, marketing in general works. Marketing and advertising and everything work basically as such. Imagine a river, right? And the fish within that river are your prospects. I hate that term. It's dehumanizing, but I'll use it for the sake of discussion, right? They are the prospect for your product or service. For the sake of our discussion, to get a listing, all right? You are, by nature, the expert in that river waiting for them to approach. You've already put your bait out on the side of the boat, no hooks, right? Which is the best way to fish, right? I'm going to use fishing analogies because they make the most sense. Chumming the waters before you drop your hook is always the best, right? You want to bring the fish in around the boat before you start to fish, right? Because fish have this really acute sense of smelling. So if I throw out bait fish or things of that nature, I'm going to draw a larger crowd before I go fishing. So what you want to do is create this environment that attracts prospects to you. How do I do it? I can do it with audio, I can do it with video, I can do it with written word, I can do it with pictures and Instagram these days. That's what social media does. It allows us to create this base. It's a huge part of redirectional marketing, right? Now, that used to be a very functional way to work. I could go to the